Module 3, Lesson 15, Locating Ordered Pairs on the Coordinate Plane. Learning targets. I can recognize that the axes of the coordinate plane divide the plane into 4 regions called quadrants. I can identify the origin and locate points other than the origin which lie on the axis. And I can locate points in the coordinate plane. The point on the screen represents 0 on a number line. We are going to draw a number line to the right, starting at 0. We are now going to draw a number line going to the left of the point. And now we will draw a number line going up from 0. And we will draw a number line going down from 0. This is what we call the coordinate plane. What is the origin and what are its coordinates? The origin is the point where the x-axis and y-axis intersect. The coordinates are 0, 0. To describe locations of points in the coordinate plane, we use ordered pairs of numbers. Order is important, so on the coordinate plane, we use the form parentheses x, y, end parentheses. The first coordinate represents the point's location from 0 on the x-axis, and the second coordinate represents the point's location from 0 on the y-axis. Now we are going to graph some points on the x-axis and label their coordinates. As you can see, I have graphed 5 points on our coordinate plane. What do the coordinates of our points have in common? Each point has a y-coordinate of 0. So what must be true about any point that lies on the x-axis? The y-coordinate must be 0. Now let's graph some points on the y-axis and label their coordinates. As you can see, I have graphed 5 points on our coordinate plane. What do the coordinates of our points have in common? Each point has an x-coordinate of 0. So what must be true about any point that lies on the y-axis? The x-coordinate must be 0. On the screen, I have plotted a point for the origin. If the origin is the only point with 0 for both coordinates, what must be true about the origin? The origin is the only point that is on both the x-axis and y-axis. The x-axis and y-axis cut the plane into 4 regions. The upper right corner is called quadrant 1, and both numbers would be positive for it to be in quadrant 1. The upper left-hand corner is called quadrant 2, and in quadrant 2, the x-coordinate would be negative and the y-coordinate would be positive. The bottom left-hand corner is called quadrant 3, and both numbers would be negative in order for the point to be in quadrant 3. And lastly, the bottom right-hand corner is called quadrant 4, and in this quadrant, the x-coordinate would be positive and the y-coordinate will be negative. Let's plot the coordinate 7, 2. In which quadrant is this point located? This point is located in quadrant 1. Now let's plot the coordinate 3, -4. In which quadrant is this point located? This point is located in quadrant 4. Now let's plot the coordinate 1, -5. In which quadrant is this point located? This point is located in quadrant 4. Now let's plot the coordinate -3, 8. In which quadrant is this point located? This point is located in quadrant 2. And finally, let's plot the point -2, -1. In which quadrant is this point located? This point is located in quadrant 3. What point could we plot that would be in quadrant 1? An example would be the point 1, 3. How about a point located in quadrant 2? An example would be -3, 1. And how about a point that would be in quadrant 3? An example would be the point -1, -1. And finally, how about a point that would be in quadrant 4? An example would be the point 1, -6. Lesson summary. The x-axis and y-axis of the coordinate plane are number lines that intersect at 0 on each number line. The axes partition the coordinate plane into 4 quadrants, and points in the coordinate plane lie either on an axis or in one of the 4 quadrants. Now go complete the problem set.